Now, from a physical standpoint, um, in basketball, we use our lower body. You use your feet, uh, you use your feet, your ankle. Obviously, you run, you sprint, you jump. Uh, you use your legs, uh, you use your joints. You have to like bend your knees to play defense, to play solid defense, to be able to shuffle. You shuffle. You do some lifting, squat, so you could get stronger, so you could take off in the air, so you could like have a better bounce. So you can stay in the air or maybe like jump higher, stuff like that. So we use our legs, we use our squat, our quads, our hamstrings. Um, we use our butt. Yes, we use our butt. To post up. When you try to post up and you want to get stronger, you got to get lower. So you need a strong glute and butt at the same time. Do a lot of squat, obviously in the gym, in the weight room. So you use your butt to back out. Sometimes you need to have a strong lower body strength in order to box out your player. Um, what else? We shuffle, we sprint. Like I said, we jog, we walk. Um, we pretty much do everything. So we jump, we jump. Um, we do a lot of things using our feet. We backpedal. Uh, we twist. When you play, we twist our hips when you play defense, and then you get beat off the dribble. About your opponent, and then all of a sudden you try to catch up with him, and you do catch up with him, and then he switches between the legs, switches direction. You have to like change direction as well. So there's a movement. You switch. You turn your hips. So there's a lot of hips movement at time, things like that. So you definitely use your lower body. It's very important as far as like basketball. I'll probably say 99% of what we do in basketball is with our lower body. We definitely use our upper body. You need to have a strong core, to be able to like endure contact and still finish in the air. It's not about abs, it's about core. So it's about having a strong core. Your chest is very important when you set picks or when you box out somebody, or when you set picks. Obviously, you got players who gonna try to run you out when you set picks. So you got to make sure you're very strong. You got to make sure you hit the weight room. You do a lot of weightlifting. Obviously, uh, bench press. A lot of bench press that we do in basketball, so you could get stronger. Your back, you definitely use your back. It's a very important. You got to be able to run fast and sprint. Sometimes, if you have a bad back, it's going to be really painful. And I'm speaking on experience. I went through it. It's not a fun thing when you have a bad back, especially your lower back. So it's definitely important. Use your back. You definitely use your chest. We use our arms, obviously. We use our arms. Both arms, obviously. Use your fingers. When you shoot to follow through, use your fingers. When you dunk, use your fingers. Sometimes when you dunk and then maybe you about to fall, you about to land in a very bad way. You feel like you're gonna land in a very very bad way. You might just hold on to the rim a little bit so you could gather yourself before you do a safe landing. So sometimes your wrists are very important. Obviously, I don't have to teach that. Something that come out to you very naturally once you start playing or once you start doing dunking and stuff like that. Obviously, use your wrist for your follow through. When you shoot, use your arm, use your hand. When you play defense, use your hand to high five players. Use your hands, fingers to communicate. Sometimes we don't always communicate with the mouth. Sometimes we communicate with point position where maybe the teammate should be. So you use your hands. You definitely use your arm to shoot the basketball, to make passes. Use your elbow. Obviously to go and grab a rebound. When you go and you grab a rebound and you squeeze the ball like this, with your elbow out. It's a stronger way to protect the basketball, so nobody can come either side, or if they're trying to come and get a steal, it's gonna be hard, especially if you hit the weight room pretty good. it's gonna be hard for them to to get the ball away from you. So as long as you just hold the ball and squeeze it and then extend your elbow. Now if you swing it, that's now you put the referee in a situation where they have to make a call. They have to make a decision whether it wasn't intentional, you were trying to hurt somebody or not. So I recommend not to swing anything. Just grab the rebound and just use your elbow with that. I think that's about it. Sometimes when you set pick, you use your elbow. Some guys set pick by putting their arms and protecting their private part. Sometimes you could. Some guys they use their forearm to set pick and protect it with a strong elbow, stuff like that. We use shoulders. We use our shoulders. Our shoulders are very important, especially for like if you post up, for example. When you have broad shoulders, if you use the length of your shoulder plus your arm, plus the length of your arm with the ball. If I have the ball in my right hand and I extend it as I'm dribbling, if I use the length of my shoulder plus the length of my arm, if the defender is on my left shoulder and I put my left shoulder on his chest and I start bouncing and backing him down, it's gonna be very hard for him to try to steal that ball because obviously I'm using the length of my shoulder, and if you got strong shoulder, it's definitely going to work for your advantage. That's one. Another reason why we use our shoulders when you drive. When you drive, it's very important. Sometimes if you have quick first step, if you beat your defender off that first step and you already got him, you got that lane. When he's trying to catch up, you got to use your shoulder and lean on him to make sure he doesn't get in that lane. So you make sure you cut him off. You make sure he doesn't get in that lane. And sometimes defenders are pretty strong, and they might in the slide they might push you over slowly. It's not a foul without a ref calling without their hands. And then if you're not strong, you're gonna start shifting away. He's gonna get you off your lane. That's another reason why you gotta get strong. You gotta get your shoulder very strong. And so once you beat him up that dribble and you got him on the first step and you got the lane, you got the advantage on the lane. You make sure he never, the defender never gets back on that lane, never gets in, and so you got that easy drive. So and you could use your shoulder and lean on the player as you drive and get strong. So we definitely use our shoulders in basketball for sure. We use our neck and our head. Obviously, who's talking about heads, talking about the eyes, talking about make sure that you know where the attention is, which is obviously the basketball, and you know where your man is, the guy you're defending on. So at all times, because if you just pay attention to the ball, he might do a back cut for a layup or a dunk. So you got to make sure you always keep up with the two, the guy you're defending on or the girl you're defending on for women, and the attention, which is the basketball. So yeah, so we constantly twist our head just to make sure. Some guys twist their head all the time to make sure they know where the ball is, the attention, obviously, like I said, and the defender. Some guys, they try to find a way where they could see at the same time the ball and the defender, but they're not looking at the two at the same time. They just kind of like zone out in that view, that balanced view where they can see both at the same time. So yeah, that's another way to keep up with the two. We use our mouth definitely because we have to talk. Communicate. We have to communicate on defense. It's very important to communicate on defense, even in offense. When you call the play, when you call the play, if you're a point guard, if you're a two guard, whoever position you play, or maybe when you say screen, you let your teammate know there's a screen coming up left, there's a screen coming up right, there's a back cut coming up. There's constantly communicate. So use your mouth. It's very important. And lastly, but not least, but very, very, very important, you use your brain. Use your brain because, the basketball game is all about making decision. Whether you make the right decision or you make the decision you will learn from. And I said the decision you will learn from, not bad decision. In the basketball world, we look at it as, it was a bad decision if we lost the game. If that play make us lose the game, if that play make us, get that bucket, then eventually we lost the championship. So it was a bad play. It was a bad decision. But I don't personally think there are bad decisions in basketball court. I think there are decisions that you need to learn. It's a different way of looking at. It's a different approach to looking at decision making, and it helps your player to just kind of like it helps your player to play the game and in a more free way in how they approach the game and just kind of relax. I will talk about that in more videos later on, but the brain is definitely something important as far as basketball is concerned, because you got to make reads. You got to read the game. Sometimes you about to make a play, but you got a mismatch. You got to make sure you make them pay on that mismatch. Sometimes you know maybe a defender is going to shoot, but this tonight he's not really feeling it. Or maybe you made a read on something that eventually and then you might get a steal. You know, basketball is all about make reads because you have the moment, you have what you're preparing on the scouting report, and then you have what's going on in the game because players do adjust, and you got to be able to adjust as well.